Ja, keyframe, interval. Ja.
Oké, de Facebook is in gang. De YouTube stream now is ook begonnen.
Ja. En waar zie ik nu de...
Hier, de chat moet herstarten. De chat. Mogen dat in een... Wacht, waar is de dingen nu? Zitten die nu toch online? Wat is dat hier nu?
Ja, hij is nog aan het tekenen. 48, 49. En Facebook zijn er 2 mensen aan het kijken.
Ja, ik vind hier nu de dingen niet. Ah, nee.
Can anybody give a sign that they follow us, that they hear us, send in a message, ask a question, anything? We're not sure if we're getting through this. Tip dat ik erin. Anybody out there? OCO. Are working. Pieter Collin, er komt bij mij niets door dan de aankondiging. Is er een probleem? Ja, het is wel dom dat ik ook niet zie wat dan de mensen zien. Hè.
Maar je ziet het toch wel hier van...
Ja, daar, ja, dat zie ik, maar ik zie niet wat dat er gebeurt online. Kun je hier dat volgen nu bijvoorbeeld? Als je mijn gsm met mijn Facebook had.
Heb je Facebook? Waar gaat het zo? Nee, ja. Ja, nu ben je live, ik kan dat zien. Video has no sound.
Ah, oké.
Hold on a second. Is er nu geluid? Ah nee, ik hoor geluid nu. Ja, het is in orde, weg geluid, alles is in orde, dus
Okay, so I guess everything is okay for the moment.
Ik hoor allemaal dialect en...
So welcome to the arrenbie guitar workshop. We are 5 minutes past 5. Sorry, we had to search out some things. We had tried everything.
Technical difficulties.
We had technical difficulties. Everything worked this morning. Everything worked this afternoon. And just 10 minutes before we started, things started to go south. So we are in the workshop here. I got a little display of here today, mostly acoustic instruments. There's one electric in there. Maybe tomorrow I put other instruments. So if you want to ask questions how things are done on an instrument, shoot. I don't know how it works. I guess I can read comments here on the screen, but then you have to fill in a question. I have to say a
19 comments al.
Where are the comments?
Sound is okay.
I don't
Alles
see.
zit op een
Junior,
dus.
I don't see any comments.
Ja, wacht,
I have to say a big thank you to my son who made everything possible. And a big thank you to Francis for lending us his camera. Sound is okay, zeggen ze. Alles tip-top. Gewoon beginnen, ja, oké. Oké. So, first question that I'd like to answer comes from Victor out of Bruges. He says, would you like to work with torrefied wood, or why don't you work with torrefied wood? I would like to work with torrefied wood. I've know what so for people who don't know what torrefied wood is new spruce that is already dry enough to build. So spruce is used for the tops of acoustic guitars, and then it is put into an oven where they heat it up really high with no oxygen, otherwise the wood would burn instantly. What it does is that it ages the wood significantly, and therefore what is how it's called? Hars, hoe zeg je dat? Anyway, the moisture that is still in the wood is dried up, and then the top is better sound-wise. Why don't I use it? I still have a bunch of other wood, and I've never tried to put it into an oven because I've heard lots of stories about people that burn their wood. So when I was in Finland, in the school where they teach guitar building, their let's say their mentor, or the person who started the school, he had several experiments with the wood, and problem is that he had to build a second oven. The first oven blew up, and then it's difficult in doing. One thing I know for sure, if you work with torrefied wood, the sound you get is not gonna improve anymore. The wood is at its most stable state, whereas new wood, let us say, will evolve by time. The wood will get accustomed to the string pull, and the top will set itself to the string pull. So yes, I would like to try it. But then again, I still have a bunch of other wood for tops, and so it's a matter of taste. What else is there? Maybe I can show. This is a typical Weissenborn instrument. It's not typical, it's atypical, because the neck is hollow all the way to the top, or the headstock. And normally there's a sound hole here. What I did, I moved it, and therefore it has much longer sustain. The soundboard is now all the way up to here. Maybe interesting to tell to people who know a lot about guitar building, how did I solve this? There's an X-brace as in any normal guitar, and then I put another X-brace here because this portion of the instrument was becoming very weak. And well, it's been here for 2 years, it's hold on, it's keeping good tone. Maybe I can tell you how I made the binding, because it's on hand here. To make a binding like this, what they call is a rope binding, what I do is you take pieces of you cut up ebony fretboards and pieces of maple, and then you glue them together. These are just the things that are left over. You glue them together, and under an angle you cut them, and then you get lots of ebony and maple pieces. And normally, if you make a rope binding with smaller pieces, then you glue them in between two veneers, and then you can bend them just like any other binding on an instrument. But since I made the blocks a little bit too big, everything sort of went open again, because the wood blocks are glued to each other, so if you heat them while bending, they let loose again, and this was not a good idea, so I had to set them all in one by one. And it's a difficult thing to do, because here was no problem. Those are straight pieces, but then again here you come and everything goes constantly. The angle of the blocks changes constantly, so I had to fit them all by hand. Even here in the back, there's so much slight changes in the corners, and this is an instrument that is played on the lap. You put it on your knees or on your upper thighs. It's not to be compared with the dobro. Mostly this is not such a high tension as on the dobro. So this one is tuned now in open D. Oops. Any more questions? Zoden is on klikken.
Yes.
Hey Rui, thank you for saying hello from Portugal. Hi. So we got lots of other builders. I invite you to go to see to the calendar on the Holy Couch Guitar Show. On Facebook, there's lots of other places, people that are opening their workshop. I mean, Corona pandemic is a terrible thing to happen to us, but we try to make the best out of it. So I already, like half an hour ago, I spoke on a live chat with Pablo in Madrid, and now I see that Rui says hello. So thank you, Rui. This one is totally new. You can see on the color of the soundboard, it's still very white. It hasn't seen much of sunlight yet. This was a custom order for a guy in Berlin, a young guy who is a professional musician. But I'm not a bouzouki player anyway. Specifics of this instrument. All the dark wood is ziricote. I don't know if you are familiar with ziricote. I tried to show it to the camera. It has some, wait a minute, yeah. It has some really striking appearance in the wood.
You're showing the whole reflector's green in the reflection.
Yeah, and the finish is, oh, the finish is good. Ah, I can see myself, yeah. Okay, and the fretboard is also in ziricote. The bridge is in ziricote. These are Kowa bridge pins. I just took Kowa because they were nice together with the ziricote. Spruced up with beautiful bear claw. Let me see if we can show that closer. Oh, no. It's hard to see. Yeah, maybe this way you can see the bear claw figure. Yeah. Schaller tuning pegs. 4 courses of strings. It's a long scale. And I see that something came loose in there. One of the cables is loose. I will have to reglue it. There is a MySi system built in. MySi has the advantage, it's actually a combination between the Barkus Berry under saddle pickup, but the preamplifier is from MySi. And a good thing about it, you just plug in a jack that is connected to an adapter. You put the adapter in the wall socket for 60 seconds, and then you can play 16 hours. So no more batteries while you're at a live gig. and where with other systems, when the battery goes down, you're what I do now, and then you can play with this thing for 16 hours. Hilko says, hey Hilko. Who else is there? Ashok. Hey Ashok. Ashok is in India, I guess. Somebody says I'm making them too shiny. Well, above all, Kurt should say that. I like a shiny finish. Normally I do a hand rub finish in French polish. I have some here. This is not morning urine. This is French polish, shellac that is dissolved in alcohol. But this one is done with a spray gun by a guy who is very much better than what I would do. I gave it a spray finish because I know this instrument will be played a lot in live situations. And then a French polish might be too soft, might be too brittle. And so yeah, a spray gun finish is harder and it's more difficult to repair if there are scratches or something like that, but it will last longer or better than a French polish. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions. Okay, I see there's lots of people looking in, even old colleagues. Rauno, hey, Rauno from Finland, hey. This is great. It's fun. The only problem is that we can't talk back and forth. I would have loved that. When we would be at the Holy Grail in Berlin, it would be fun to meet you. Shake hands, something we can't do now for this instant, so it's terrible.
What is happening?
On YouTube somebody said something, but we couldn't lezen. Hier is Steven.
Okay.
Hier.
Ja, maar die had ik hier ook geladen, hè, normaal gezien.
Steven Warfield said it's inspirational and he makes cigar box guitars. No, Kurt, it's no cellulose lacquer. It's I guess it's polyurethane, something like that. Polyurethane. Polyurethane. No. I had the option to take cellulose, but cellulose is again then more difficult to maintain. For instance, when the humidity of the instrument is changing, or the humidity around the instrument is changing, then the lacquer might get brittle. I know people like that. I know there are builders that spray their guitar and then they put it in the freezer just to get that effect. So this is what I don't do. I can do it, but here I took the option of the polyurethane. Maybe talk about this one. This one has no finish on the back, and it's only a bit of oil, just to have a nice feel. The front is very shiny, again with sprayed finish. Well, every time I say this guitar is booming back at me. So I put the shiny finish on here because the wood is really, you have all sorts of flame in there and bird's eye and quilt. So this is an electric guitar. It is set up, same setup as a Telecaster. Curtis Novak pickups. Wait, there's your iPhone. And 4-switch control. Maybe I can do a little demo.
Somebody asked how long it takes to build an acoustic guitar. We apparently skipped that question.
Okay, we apparently skipped a question. It's all new to us, sorry. So the question was, how long does it take to make an acoustic guitar? I would say normally with finish and all, French polish for example, it would take me like 250 hours. I don't do batches. I make guitars piece by piece. So I make them piece by piece. If you would make batches, like for instance, if you would make 6 necks and then 6 fretboards and 6 bridges and have everything speed up, like you make all your braces for like 10 to 20 guitars at once, and you make, for instance, your kerfing. I have some kerfing lying here. This is kerfing I made while I was busy. I made extra while I made these for this instrument, for the bouzouki. I make these. So in the back, I don't know if you can see it, behind the jumbo there's a top wood and a back for an OM that I started for a customer. So once I get to the kerfing, I will just take those off the shelf. But I won't limit myself to only. I like new things going on. Our drummer is here. Jot Johan, het is live, vent, live. Okay, so what do we have here? This is the neck pickup, Curtis Novak. Can I put the volume up? Okay, these two in parallel. Neck pickup.
See YouTube comments.
Okay. So tone knob. Oh. And then this is a fourth position and puts both pickups in series. So this functions now as one big pickup. Okay, somebody asks how French urine tastes. I wouldn't know. See you, Jan. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so I see that people are responding also on the YouTube channel, which is great. We tried to combine the three, I mean Instagram, Facebook and YouTube, but we're using Restream and they don't work together with Instagram, so
Or I didn't find it.
maybe later on I will go on with a live session on Instagram. Another guitar here that I have is what I call a mini jumbo. My personal guitar is the same model, but then with a cutaway. My guitar is made in walnut, backs and sides, and is called Dr. Walnut. And this is his sister, Dr. Maple. Beautiful honey burst finish on a cedar top. There's a big difference between cedar and spruce in the sense that cedar has a more mellower, more softer voice. But in combination with the maple normally has sound quality being a little bit harsh, a little bit trebly. So combined with this cedar, it has a good sound to me. And I should demo this. Hey Lars is looking from the UK. Hey Lars, how you doing? Lars Mullen. So, what are the specs about this guitar? I told you about the top and the back and sides. It has a walnut binding. This is a Brazilian rosewood bridge. Why? It's light compared to what it does, the density of the wood, but it's very light. And then ebony fretboard with I don't know how you call them. They're in power abalone marks. They're like little. Okay. Grover tuners. What else do we have? Oh, we have other guitars. Are there any questions on how the building? How I make guitars, how I do things. Let me see if there are any questions. Yeah, they're looking in Ostend, they're looking in Limburg, in the UK, in France, in Brussels, in Limburg, and then there's a friend and a study break. Hey, Soden. Hey, Simon. Simon just came in. Simon Fobbester from the UK. Okay, and a niece of mine is also, I guess she's also on a break now because she's a nurse and she goes to the houses. She has a lot of work on her hands with this pandemic. Vietnam. Okay, anybody else? Put on some questions, then I know what to reply to. She's also on a break now. Kurt asked something about the placement of the X bracing. Do you mean in the guitar or in the Weissenborn? Let me see. I guess he's talking about the Weissenborn. Kurt, if you hear me, let me hear if you want to know about the X bracing. Oops. Take this down with it. Oh, for those you know. So let me this X brace here. So normally the X is supposed to withstand the pull of the strings on the bridge here, where the top would collapse on this point. So you put an X brace that needs to withstand all this power that is put on there. And then normally here you have a sound hole. I wanted to move the sound hole and open up the sides and the top of the instrument. Why did I want to do that? In two reasons. If you play an instrument like this live with the sound hole in the normal position, actually a lot of the sound goes up. And if you're in front of people, they sit there, but they don't hear what is going up. So I wanted to open up the... you mean this one, Ashok? Mm-hmm. Guitar. Okay. I'll get back to Kurt on the guitar then. First, continue with this one because tell me more about right. Okay. So that is what I tried to solve with opening up the sides here. If you play it like this, and it should work now because the microphone is here. Don't know if you see. This is the microphone. The funny thing is, you can't hear this now, but where I'm standing here, it seems like the sound is coming out of the top, whereas the sound holes are here. So, sound and this is the physics where but okay. But I had to put in another X brace here and here just to reinforce, because if you, this is very strong. A bend in the sides of the guitar is an extra strong position, whereas I opened it up, so I had to reinforce that. But the question that Kurt asked was on the. Oh, jullie zien dat hier. Hier eerst ook hebben. Ja. So Kurt asked if there was a shifted position for the bracing on the guitar or a normal. This is a normal position of the axis. Actually, this is copied from a Gibson J185, better known as the Everly Brothers model from Gibson. And I added the Martin bracing on the top. Is a forward shifted bracing, so. Ah, Pierre in Paris. Hello, Pierre. It worked out, eh? Pierre says, great live broadcast, doing great. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pierre. Pierre is the one who helped all our luthiers. He made a special page, how we had to do things, how we have to do the live broadcasting. So thank you very much, Pierre. Pierre has a great channel. It's called the Guitar Channel. Go look it up on the internet. He also has a site,
La chaîne de guitare.
La chaîne guitare. Yeah, thank you. But I guess most people now are English speaking here. So the Guitar Channel, go out, and he has a bunch of stuff up there. Whenever there's a show, like for instance, he goes to Nam, he goes to Japan, he interviews good quality luthiers and then players. So Pierre is really the guy to look for. One of our colleagues is also online, Jerome in Brussels, and he says, when all is over at your shop, well, sure you have to come over whenever you come to Bruges. Bruges is one of the most beautiful cities in Belgium. So come over and say hello. Yeah, you're welcome, Pierre. You're welcome. Okay, what else can I say? What else can I say? So tomorrow at 5, now I know how this to prepare a bit more, that I could show a bunch of things. Maybe I could show you this. This is, as I said, kerfing. Why do you need kerfing? Well, if you need to glue a top to the sides of an instrument, the sides are mostly around 2 millimeters, sometimes a little less, eh? And there you have to glue a top on. So the space for gluing is really tiny, and we enlarge it with these things. In wood, this is no invention of mine. Actually, I saw the idea from Kevin Ryan, who is an American builder, and he made something similar. And I just tried it out, and now I have wood that is very flexible. It can bend in any way, but also like this, which is very, very, very necessary for the curvings. The bouzouki bracing. Okay, Francois in Brussels asked me what type of bracing did I use. I don't have the... It's a ladder bracing. It's a very, very near ladder bracing. I'll show you the book I used. In the book by Graham MacDonald. I don't know if you see it like this. Graham MacDonald has a book on the Irish bouzouki. And there he... there is a drawing in here. This is practically what I used. I don't know if you can see it, Francois. But this is half of the instrument and the bracing. But they give you proportions as to width and height of the bracing. But there I did a bit my own thing. As you know, not every piece of wood is the same. So you have to flex it. Before you brace, you flex it to feel... And then once the bracings are on, you still have to shave your bracings, tap tone, listen to it, to see what it does. Can you show the neck of the cedar guitar? Cedar guitar, So this is a mahogany neck. I guess this is what Ashok wanted to know. This is old growth mahogany. One of my colleagues at the school where I teach had some mahogany laying around for more than 50 years, and I was lucky to buy a couple of necks from him, and that's real fun to use. Mahogany is one of the easiest woods, I guess, to planing script. Very, very funny. Yeah, maybe talk about this thing. This is a custom inlay, and the customer wanted the infinity symbol into his instrument, but I suggested to him pearl or abalone or whatever, and he didn't like that. He says it's too shiny, I don't want a shiny thing in there, so I made it in bone. Actually, I made this bone. Yeah. Dat komt serieus achter je, vriend. Let me have a zip. When I talked to Pablo in Madrid earlier on, he was drinking lager, I'm drinking water.
It's vodka, we all know it.
No, it's not. So, what time is it? Well, we're already 40 minutes in there. Is there anything else I can show you? Ah, yeah. I can show you one of these little brothers. I have to answer another question. Christoph asked, how do you start? Well, I can show it. I have several bits and pieces laying around here of a ukulele. This is a ukulele with, again, a spruce top with some bear claw figure in it. Beautiful edge binding. I don't know if you see it. And it's have crazy, what is called bird's eye maple. It has a cedar neck. It has a Brazilian rosewood fingerboard and bridge and headstock overlay. And there is a little, how do you call that?
It's a seahorse.
It's a seahorse? I was afraid I was going to make a dumb mistake by saying it's a seahorse, but it is a seahorse.
Actually, it's a hippopotamus, but...
Yeah, okay. Hippopotamus. How do you start in building a guitar? Okay, this is fun.
Ja, de ezelkast ook.
Ja, maar dat is vermoeiend. Okay. You start out with a piece of wood. This is spruce, and I don't know if you can see it, it's very tight grained. So what you do is you slice off a piece, and then for a ukulele from time to time, you can have pieces that are one top plate. When I make a guitar, this one is out of one piece. I don't know if you can see it. It's a one piece spruce top, and here is a spruce top that was joined. It's book matched. Here you can see the where I joined it. So talking about rosettes, different rosettes, bracing is on a ukulele is not much. And then you do the same for the back. So this is also, I don't know if it's Sippo or Sapele, but it is very beautiful. There's not a finish on there. Still has to have a bit of varnish or oil, and it already shines. And then in the same material, you have the wood for the sides, and then you start bending them. And bending is done on a bending iron, practically the same thing as a thing where you iron your clothes with, but then a thick. And if you make lots of them, you can also try to make a thing like this. So here, the sides are put in between two slants of metal. It's spring steel, stainless spring steel, and together with it goes a rubber resistance.
A heating mat.
A heating mat, actually. There's a resistance in there if you put it into the wall. And then first I start with this one coming down. So I put bolts on here and I turn it down so that it gets contact with the waist of the mold here. And then afterwards these are pulled down. But I can do it by hand as well. If you have your sides and your top and your back ready, you glue them together and you get a little cigar box. Okay, and then a neck is made. I used to have more than one neck here. Anyway, you make a little neck. This one was a cut-off. I had a mistake with the tenon that goes in here, so I had to cut it off, but I keep it here for a demonstration whenever children or visitors are coming by to show them how it works. But anyway, you put in the neck like this, then it needs a fretboard. This is also something that went to a fretboard on, and then the next thing you need to do is put on a bridge, put strings on and start playing, or learn how to play. As you will. Found it. I knew I had one. Okay, so this is actually a neck is one piece here. You cut off a piece here under an angle and you turn it around and glue it to this piece. And then here a couple of blocks and one big block. And then these little corners are cut off and then it fits into the body that we just showed. And a head overlay and yeah. Okay, any more questions? Torsten from Germany also watching. And your niece is saying hello to you. Hello, Ralph Jr., Natalie. Okay, that's great. Even in Germany, Torsten says everything is good to see and understand. Asks me a question. Do I do my paint job myself or varnish? As I said earlier on, for some finishes I do myself. For instance, this guitar I finished myself in a technique called French polish. It's actually it's a thing that is left over from a sort of an insect that lives on eucalyptus trees in warmer countries, more in the Middle East or in the East. Middle East, yeah. And so it's a very tedious job. The about it is that it's a soft and a fragile finish, but most concert guitars are done in French polish. I mean, all the high standard classical guitars are finished in French polish because it's the number one finish for the sound. Okay? But as I said earlier, it's a rather soft and a better finish is a spray gun finish in the sense that it's, if you take like mine with the nails here on, or you have a belt buckle and then you scratch along your guitar. If you have a guitar in French polish, it's going to show from the first scratch. So therefore a spray gun finish is sometimes better. This instrument is spray finished because I know it's going to a customer who is a working musician. He plays live a lot, so it needs to stand the beating, whereas a French polish isn't. That's it. How we doing so far? Where are we? Whoa, we're also in Brazil. Somebody called Pereira says hi from Brazil. Well, hi A from Brazil.
Peter Mann has retracted his messages. Hier zien we ook van.
Ik zie dat niet.
Is dat waar? Peter Mann, message.
Peter had a good question, but he pulled it out. Okay, ask me any more questions. What else is there to say? I could tell you about hide glue. What hide glue is. Normally, the luthiers that are looking here should know what hide glue is. Hide glue is... heb ik een saxie dan even? Ja. Ja, dat is maar op weer.
Al je hippie-drugs?
So, sometimes my son thinks this is my stash of illegal drugs. It is not. It is hide glue. What is hide glue? It is made from the hides of animals. You also have fish glue. And then there's a bone glue made from the bones from the animals. But this is hide glue made from a rabbit. Hey Miriam. And then you have a hide glue made from nerves out of the system in the body. And so how does it work? What we do is we put a little bit of hide glue in a pot. Just a potchen. And then we have this pot here, and it is a bain-marie. There is water in it, and I put the pot on it like this. So you heat up the water, and the product itself never gets into contact with the heating system, while otherwise it wouldn't glue as good. What you get is a glue that is, you have to, when you work with hide glue, you have to learn how to work with it. It can't be too runny, and it can't be too thick, like or something like that. Once I'm finished, I save the glue that is left over into syringes like this. And because a syringe is actually vacuum, there is no air in there, I can keep them a long time. And when I have to do a little repair, because I also do lots of repairs on guitars, I just heat it up in the bain-marie and I'm ready to go. I use it also to put my frets into the fretboards. The hide glue is extra for little gaps that are if you jam in fret. Hans from the Netherlands is also looking. Welcome, Hans. Jo, is goed. Carl from Gutland Guitars in Hasselt, in Limburg, Belgium, is also looking. Carl couldn't stand the fact that I performed on guitars that I made myself. We know each other for a long, long time. He plays in a blues band called Blues Lee. Go check him out. And since he couldn't stand the fact that I played in his own guitars, and then he won a competition in Holland with his own designed guitar, and nowadays he makes a living out of making guitars. So go see him on the website, Gutland Guitars, made in Belgium. He's a real nice guy, and I love him to death. How's that about a reclame?
Promotional video.
Okay. We're nearly around an hour, so I guess we're gonna turn this over. Thank you very much for stopping by. Some other guitars here. There'll be Resocaster. There'll be another Mojo Electric, and then
Hopefully no technical issues.
Jimmy Morello from the US of A. How you doing, brother? I hope your health is okay, man. I saw some things on Facebook I didn't like, but I hope you're okay. Elke. Normally I was in Berlin and Elke was gonna help me out, so but we'll meet once this corona shit is over. Okay, thank you everybody for joining in. Let's meet up tomorrow again. I'll make it a little more interesting. I'll make sure I have some stuff with me to show you. We're a bit fixed now with lightning, with the camera, with the mic, but I'll make some room that I can show you other stuff like tools that we use in lutherie, and I have some other guitars to present. So check in back tomorrow again at 5 p.m. And thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. R&B Guitars. Check the website. Bye-bye.